Hello, welcome on back everybody. So, as you guys might know, I featured the top 5 ESO battles here, and you guys send me a lot of different clips. Every now and then, you guys send me a clip that is so long, with so many kills, it would just not fit into a top 5 episode. And that is exactly what Tsun has shared with us today. He is playing some Stamina Dragonknight inside an enemy keep, and this is a very long fight. Now, Tsun has requested that I keep him anonymous in this video, so I don't have a YouTube link for you guys today. But nonetheless, a massive thank you to Tsun for sending in this amazing clip, so we at least get to enjoy the gameplay all together. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So, we just saw that leap from Tsun to bring down one of the yellow players that followed him in the keep here. And we're in the tower, and he's moving around the bottom of the tower, keeping those buffs up. He's got the Ash Cloud on the ground for that big amount of healing power that it can give as well. And Tsun, again, just got all those buffs ready, tries to feed that heavy attack to the enemy player. He's just out of range. Fantastic timing on the leap as he tries to go for the door. And Tsun gets a nice big smack on that into the Executioner to bring that guy down. And he sees more yellow players coming, so he just backs up again into his safety part of the tower here. And as the yellow come around the corner, Tsun gets that heavy attack into the Noxious Breath, a nice big AoE debuff, throws down the Ash Cloud to tank out and get that healing power, and then a huge AoE leap, hitting 3 players and getting really good damage into the enemy Dragonknight. Unfortunately, he gets into his blocks and heals in time, and Tsun just forced back behind the corner just to kind of heal up a little bit, and he tries to keep the pressure on this enemy Nightblade, who's just getting away on lower health. And Tsun comes around the corner, hits him with that Executioner to finish him off. Dragonknight getting a little bit more distance on its melee attacks than the other classes, and there you see Tsun taking good advantage of that. And then he heads back towards the body here. These guys are trying to go for the res. Tsun gets a interrupt on the res with the leap and then finishes off the low health player with the Executioner, but he's taken a bit of pressure from the enemy player from behind there. He just backs up towards his Ash Cloud there, quickly rebuffing, rehealing, and then jumps on top of this yellow player and gets the bash to prevent the sword from picking him up. Again, he's taking quite a bit of pressure as he goes around that corner there, and Tsun just throws down another defensive Ash Cloud, and here he just waits to get a good opportunity for the burst. There you see a fantastic leap on the enemy Templar. Tsun almost getting the kill there, but he gets stunned from behind by the enemy player, and it ends up preventing him from sealing the deal with that execute. And Tsun just retreats back up to the top of the tower here, throws down the Ash Cloud, and sees the yellow kind of retreating away from this position a little. So he ends up coming down the side and jumping on top of the enemy Templar. He dots him up right away, goes for the leap. There's the partial charged heavy into the Executioner. The enemy Templar cannot break it in time, and Tsun brings him down. Just eating the damage from the enemy Sork there. He's rotating those heals though, so his health didn't drop big time while he absorbed that damage. He right away jumps on the enemy Sork, catching him with the shields down with the shield bash. And then he hits him with the light attack Executioner, and sorry, there's a little bit of a jump in the footage there, but Tsun just ends up picking up that kill and then retreating back into the tower here. And more yellow end up coming to this location. Tsun just waits for them to come around the corner. There we see again that big heavy attack with the splash off the greatsword, and then going for the Noxious Breath to debuff everybody. They chase him around the corner here. Tsun sees the player, half HP. He hits him with a huge leap, the light attack, the Executioner. Another player goes down. Tsun just jumping away into the block and the roll to keep himself from dying, taking a lot of pressure from the yellow players, and it looks like they very quickly picked that body up. And they're going to make Tsun work to keep these guys down. Now, this is a yellow keep that he's in here, so anybody that he kills is free to respawn at the keep and re-engage. And we've seen that happen a couple times already, and Tsun finding himself getting surrounded pretty bad in the middle of that room there. He retreats back up to the top here, throws down another Ash Cloud. One player chases him, and Tsun sees the low health player trying to escape, jumping on top of him with that leap, quickly finishing him, and then back into the tower, resetting his buffs. And he gets back up to his Ash Cloud, resets it. The enemy werewolf comes in here with the heavy attacks. Tsun just tanking it out with the healing power from the Ash Cloud. That snare plus the healing power, so amazing in the tight corridors of the keep here. And Tsun just keeping that dot pressure on, looking for a good target. Really good dot up on the Nightblade, and the leap into a single light attack. The Nightblade comes down. Tsun drops down to the bottom again, just resetting his buffs. It looks like the werewolf is gonna chase there, and then he comes back up to the top, and Tsun right away jumps on top of the enemy Sork, starts feeding him the dots. The Nightblades hit him from behind. Tsun goes into that powerful block on the sword and shield, and then quickly heals himself up, switches back to the Greatsword bar, a big AoE debuff, and Tsun is looking for that leap. There you see he's got this guy fully debuffed, hits him with the leap. One more light attack into the Executioner. He ends up going down. Two of the yellow players end up bailing and jumping off the edge, and Tsun just ends up dropping down. He wants to take down these squishier enemy players. The werewolf here is definitely going to be more difficult to finish off with 40k HP than the rest of these guys, and Tsun just doing a good job picking his targets wisely, not overcommitting to any offensive pressure against something that he knows he can't get, and a beautiful leap there. The light attack, the Executioner, he ends up going down. The werewolf still on Tsun's tail. He does a little bit of a maneuver through the door there. The werewolf ends up going the other way, and Tsun right away goes for pressure on top of the enemy Nightblade or Sork. I couldn't really tell, but he's throwing down a lot of frost in the doorway there as well. Tsun just being patient. He waits for the rest of the yellow to come through the doorway, then he goes through them and tries to put some pressure into the enemy player that's throwing down heals there. Tsun himself taking a lot of damage from behind. He retreats back behind the wall here. Those big fat heals from the Dragonknight. Tsun keeping those hit points nice and high, and there you see a leap on top of this guy as he tries to run in the other direction. Tsun staying on top of him, keeping the pressure up, but he's taken a lot of damage from the rest of these yellow, and he's gonna have to do his best. I like how he goes towards the entrance like he's gonna run, and then again just runs through the yellow players, again forcing the turnaround, and that buys him the time he needs to put the ceiling kill into that player that's trying to escape through the doorway. And now Tsun is just getting aggressive. He's staying outside in the open here, goes for the dot up into the leap on the enemy Sork. The enemy player reacts really well to it, healing up right away, but Tsun just staying on top of him, and Tsun also throwing down a lot of heavy attacks. A good strategy in this position in case he needs to blow a lot of stamina to get to safety, and he just gets behind the wall, resets his buffs, and is going to re-engage with these guys. They throw down the Frost Field again. Tsun throws down the Ash Cloud, that really strong snare, the healing power, fantastic for him, and he's just going to be able to sit in the doorway there and tank these guys out. This is a great spot for the Ash Cloud. See how he can use the angles of the doorway to prevent a lot of ranged damage, using the staircase there as a bit of a line of sight, as well as he puts a bit of pressure into this werewolf. But again, Tsun not dumping the ultimate on him, being patient here and not getting ahead of himself. And there you see he goes into the corrosive armor, and now Tsun is going to go for pressure on the werewolf. He has the armor pierce. He can tank out the damage from the rest of the players. Unfortunately, though, it's a little bit too much pressure. Tsun's corrosive armor coming to an end there. He retreats back up to the top, resets his Ash Cloud. Now he's got two werewolves on top of him. The Sork coming around the corner with the Engine Guardian as well. Tsun right away shifting towards the Sork as a target, and the enemy players just on his tail here, keeping up the pressure. Tsun ends up eating a fear from the werewolf, or maybe the Nightblade there, and he takes a lot of damage, but quickly rolls down to the bottom, gets those big Dragonknight heals, and there we see a great leap on top of one of the enemy werewolves. This guy's trying to heal himself in time. Tsun keeping the pressure on, and he's not able to finish that guy off. Again, too much damage coming in from the rest of the yellow, and he's making a really good call, not overcommitting to those combos and risking putting himself in a really dangerous situation. And again, really good use of the terrain. He's using the corridors here to line of sight as best as possible. You see how he goes around the corner, and he'll right away just step into the side and hug the wall to prevent the ranged player from hitting him. And Tsun catches the werewolf with a great leap as he comes around the corner, low hit points, and then one Executioner to finish that guy off. And Tsun keeping up the pressure on this enemy Nightblade, throwing a lot of Noxious Breath down to pull him out of stealth. The enemy Nightblade manages to get away, but he pops out of stealth right in front of where Tsun is going, and there's a huge leap from Tsun. He finishes one player off with the leap initially, and he doesn't try to stick out the Executioner again, just being defensive, making the call to keep himself alive instead of trying to pursue that kill. and he goes back around the corner here, resets all his buffs, and these guys are just desperately trying to pick up the bodies. Tsun just starts dotting up this player, hits him with the leap. The enemy player just standing there holding block. Big heals from the enemy Dragonknight there. Tsun unable to put the damage in to bring that guy down, and he's taking pressure from the rest of the yellow. So again, he retreats back behind the wall here, and it looks like they did manage to get that res off, and Tsun puts a bit of pressure in, but he's again going to retreat back behind into his Ash Cloud and just look for that opportunity. He's got his leap ready, and he's just throwing a lot of heavy attacks down on the Matriarch, getting a lot of stamina back there. And I will let you guys enjoy the rest of this fight as we say goodbye. Again, a massive thank you to Tsun for sending in this clip. Sorry, I don't have a YouTube channel to share, as he did want to remain anonymous, but nonetheless, a fantastic fight that Tsun is able to share with us today. So a big thank you to him. If you guys have a clip that you want to send in for the top 5, you can send that to kristofereso@hotmail.com. There's links to my Twitch and my Twitter there for you guys, as well as a link to my website. The show is sponsored by What the Fast, a VPN for gamers. There's a link down below, free to try for the first month. And of course, a massive thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon. Thank you everybody for tuning in and watching. Another thank you to Tsun for sending in this amazing clip. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.